going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today it is August 8th. It's 10:35 in the morning. I'm heading out to do some preseason setting up and scouting. Last week I went out to one of the main farms I've hunted with Cass and stuff, and we've got a bunch of cameras, a bunch of stands. We put out a bunch of cameras last week. That night, running off some cell cams, we had some decent bucks already on camera. One pretty good looking deer. Right now, before I go out there, I'm heading to an urban spot that I got on. I've heard some stories from people I know about this spot, but it's very small, very tight. It's going to be really hard to hunt it. The lane is one little swamp and it sits in a bowl. So the only way to hunt it is to sit the edges with the right wind. There's a couple stands I'm going to set up out there. I just got to see what's in there. It's going to be kind of different trying to hunt between people coming home from work, walking their dogs around their yards, running leaf blowers or mowings. When I got permission for it at the end of the season last year, there was a lot of good deer activity in there, but I have no idea what's in there. It hasn't been sat and hunted like 20 years in the tree because the old one was grown in, the straps were broke. The only thing holding it to the tree was the actual stand because it had grown in so much. So I'm really curious to see how this season's going to turn out and see what kind of pictures I'm going to get out here, but I'm just going to keep uploading and try to get more of this preseason scouting, and I've got a pretty good setup to film more of my hunts this year. I'm going to record, hunt, try to upload some more videos, try to keep more of a story on some of these deer that we want to chase or that I want to chase this year. It's going to be a good season. I'm ready to kind of find out what kind of deer are moving in this 2023 season. I got two really good, nice cameras, brand new. I'm going to set them up out there. They're already set up, and I'm just going to try to stay out of it for a while once I have them in there and I get these stands trimmed up. I want to see what's in there. I don't want to keep coming in and out of it too much. It seems like one of those spots where a lot of deer have been hiding in this bowl for a long time, and I'm not real sure how used to human activity they are being that close to them. I have no idea what this spot's going to be like. So this season's going to consist of a farm hunt, but then I'm going to also throw in a lot of this urban spot and break it up so that there's almost two different segments to this 2023 deer season, and rather just sneak in there during bow season, try to see what's in there and maybe put a deer down. But the way that swamp's looking, the only way in is with waders, and it's going to be super hard to get anything out of it. So I'm going to have to choose my shots and the deer wisely out on this chunk of land and see how that goes. Stay tuned, and I think it's going to be a pretty good season. A lot of setting up and scouting already, and I'm just going to start uploading videos with what's going on and try to keep everybody on a storyline here on some of these deer. So keep watching. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. I just got the first stand set up here, the urban spot, and I've been backed in, brought my truck in. The swamp behind me is where the deer are going to be coming from, I think. This is literally an island between houses. It's just a peninsula. I'm trying to get a video of it earlier. I got a deer bedded down right next to those logs. Right there. So, first hang on. Old hang-ons on the ground. Got rid of that one. Disgusting. Nobody likes it. Get this one up. Gotta adjust the straps a little bit. The stand is way up in the air, so it's a good spot. Now I gotta pull out next road, come into a different spot. And there's another hang-on. I'm gonna set up one more good hang-on spot on the other side of the lake. And head over there after I pop this camera up. Number 2 setup here at the urban spot. I jumped a doe, 2 fawns coming in. Just trim some branches. It's looking pretty good. The swamp that I put the first stand on the other side of the bowl. That's the west side of the bowl. Now I put one on the southeast side of the bowl. I'm trying to have 2 stands just in case I gotta play some more wind here. But I feel pretty good about this stand too. Shooting lanes are tight, but we'll see how good of a spot it gets. See what the camera looks like here in a few weeks. All right, so after I left the urban spot yesterday, came out to the farm that I've hunted the past couple years with my buddy. We set one new stand up. Well, we moved a stand to a better spot. That's actually the one I'm heading to right now to trim up. I'm gonna finish trimming it up, make sure it's nice and clean, put a camera up. He's covering one side of the field, I'm covering the other. It sits on a hedgerow. It's way up in the sky. I didn't post much yesterday because we were kind of hurrying around trying to get this stand down. The problem that we had was the 3 cameras that I had set out. We checked them before we moved the stand. All 3 of my cameras in 1 week had 7,000 pictures a piece. So 3 cameras, 7,000 pictures. Too long messing with the cameras and checking pictures. And I mean, we had a couple nice bucks on there. We're still trying to get better pictures of what shooters we know are in the area. So now I'm just gonna finish up this stand, finish up the clearing some lanes in the air for it. I'm gonna take this camera, set it up on the other side of the field down a corner where we're thinking about moving one of my stands that I have in a spot that's kind of good for like the first week or two of bow, and then it kind of dies off. We're gonna move that stand probably to where I'm gonna put this camera, so we're gonna scout out that spot with this camera, but I'll show you guys what it's like once I'm up in there and I get it trimmed. Stay tuned. All right, so we just finished up stand that I set up here at the farm. I think it's gonna be a pretty good spot come this season. I think it's gonna be a good bow spot. This tree line has always been a highway to the main woods for a lot of deer, so I've always sat on opposite tree lines from this. A couple hundred yards out, I've always watched some of the biggest deer out here come down this tree line. Bedding to the north, and I've got fields to the right. I've got sweet corn out there, there's alfalfa, there's sunflowers. I got everything trimmed up, got some more lanes set up now. Here's a lot of the bedding off to the left side. So you've got bedding, it's the main woods. I'm kind of looking down a tree line. I got some lanes, but they kind of cut through here. This is kind of cut off until they open up onto this side, but this is the main food source. But what they seem to tend to do is they cut through this tree line by this grass opening behind me. So right out to about the edge of that field's got to be about 35 yards. So anything that swings around me, I'll still have a good shot at. But the stand's looking pretty good. I guess I got a lane bedding off to the side. We're up pretty high, gonna kind of stay hidden on this tree line, so just gotta trim a few more branches. I want to try to get this one, the side of this gone right here. I cut that, but it's not falling, so I mean, it's pretty good lanes anyways, but if I gotta step up and shoot over these branches, I want them trimmed up enough to get a shot down in there. So let's see, finish this up real quick, clean up around the bottom. I got limbs sitting everywhere. Put this camera up, but I think it's gonna be pretty good this season. We'll see what kind of pictures we get on the field from it, so see what happens. So long story short, I was thinking about it all week. I'm at the urban spot right now. Last week I moved that stand and I put a new top on it, a new hang-on on there. Then I thought about it all week, in this peninsula that goes straight back from the house I have permission on. It's his bowl of swamp on the one side and a lake on the other. It's literally a peninsula. It sits way up and it drops down on both sides. I think a lot of deer run in the bottoms of this peninsula. From where I had the stand, it was too far down and too central. I wouldn't have a shot at anything if it was running the bottoms of these ridges as high as I am in the middle. It'd be way off to the side, so I wouldn't have had shots of the bow. So I've been out here all morning. I checked the two cameras I brought out the last time, and one of them had 900 on it from where I just moved this stand. That one had about 400 something. Nothing too crazy. I haven't seen a shooter on there that I would shoot yet, but there's a lot of bachelor groups, smaller deer, a lot of does and a lot of fawns. But I don't know, just after thinking on it at work all week, I thought, man, I gotta push that stand back in there further. It's just gonna be playing it with the right wind, so I'm gonna end up running the camera down here now. So I'm probably about, I don't know, 200 yards or so from where it was, further back. I'm pretty much to the edge before you would hit water and have no shots. So this is the new setup now. So same thing on, and I backed all the way in here, east side, but the way my truck is facing is the way I have to come in. So this is like coming down the peninsula, and I'm sitting kind of on the end of it. You can't tell with all the leaves, but it's a big swamp in there. And where I'm up, it just drops down on both sides, and it runs down, and the swamp just keeps running all the way around the property back up towards the house. And it does the same thing. It comes all the way up through here, and then it kind of cuts off, and there's one trail that comes from this lake over here, from the swamp I have permission on, one lane runs up through there, and it connects to another field. And I have a stand over here is where I was running that first camera that I put up last time that had about 900 something on it. So off the back side, there's that lake, that neighboring property kind of runs back over there. But from what I've seen on camera is a lot of deer bed on the tops of this peninsula and this grass on the backside. They just run the bottom of the lake and they kind of bed up on these grass islands. Last time I was putting the stand in, it's about 200 yards down here. The peninsula just runs this way and it runs this way, and it was way down here, and a lot of those deer were bedding right on the edge, right down in there. So sneaking in might be kind of a pain. I just got to make sure I don't jump anything on the way in, but I feel real good about the spot. But the sky's getting pitch black here, so Probably gonna get down, throw a camera down. I won't be back to check it for probably a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks from here, probably 2 weeks from now. So I want to get my stuff set up, and I don't know, nothing too impressive on cameras yet. At the farm spot, we've been catching a lot more deer on camera. We had a couple shooters we were watching. One of the shooters almost looks like he dropped velvet, and it's only mid-August right now. So we have a few more shooters that have been showing up on the farm that I hunt. I didn't record too much last time. I went over there about 3 or 4 days ago, and we reset up one of my old stands that I like a lot, but we put it more into a bedding area. So be a good late season rut stand, one that you just sit all day. It's kind of buried in there. And we put a camera up in there, and I trimmed all those branches. 2 cameras running at the farm, and both of them are new stands this year. And I think I'm gonna have some pretty good luck at both of them. Cass has got a camera picking up quite a few deer from between the 2 stands basically. So I'll just have to see what's under those stands when I go back over there and check those cameras. They're probably gonna sit just as long as these. I'm not gonna be in here for about another 2 weeks. So I'll end up just letting things sit, and I don't know, any pictures that I get from deer on these cameras I'll start uploading. I'm just waiting on a few more giants.